Hi and welcome to Education Vision. My name is Hamza. Today we're going to be talking about Read Aloud, the first section of your speaking exam and the very first question of your Pearson examination as well. Now, in Read Aloud, what we're going to be doing is we are going to go through all the details of the scoring, the tips and tricks, the strategies, how we are supposed to do it. Every single thing it's going to be covered in this video. Watch till the end, guys, so that you can learn and ace this section for the PTE exam. So when we get started off with the Read Aloud, let's first have a look at the scoring. So in Read Aloud, we have 6 or 7 questions which we get in the exam, or I should say 6 or 7 passages that we get in the exam. The scores that we receive from this question are for speaking and reading as well. And if we look at the scoring over here, there are 3 scoring components, what the Pearson scoring guide tells us. First is for content, second is for pronunciation, and third is for fluency. Now in Read Aloud, when we talk about content primarily refers to all the words in the passage. So there is a passage which is given to us, and we have to speak that passage back to the computer or repeat that passage back to the computer without adding any words or without skipping any words. If you see, in terms of the content, it is mentioned that each replacement, omission, or insertion of a word counts as 1 error. Maximum score depends on the length of the item prompt, which simply it means that every single word that we are skipping or adding in this passage is basically impacting our reading score, because content over here is related with reading score. And then we have pronunciation. Pronunciation, we get 5 marks for pronunciation if it's native-like. Native-like does not mean that you have to speak like an Australian, a British, or an American, or a Canadian. We are not supposed to be speaking like a native speaker. Native-like pronunciation simply means that you are not mispronouncing the words. And in one of our videos before, you can see in detail how we are supposed to be pronouncing words. So if we make a mispronunciation of any word, that results in our score for speaking to go low, as well as our reading score to go low as well. And finally, fluency. Fluency simply refers to the speech that we are making, the flow of the speech, the pace of a speech. For example, the way how we speak our local languages at home. We speak them in a flow. We speak them without any pauses, any interruptions, and there is a proper way that we are speaking and delivering our local language. The same flow speech we have to bring in regards to fluency when we are speaking this passage of Read Aloud. Now in fluency, remember, to get a high score, native-like 5 marks, we are supposed to make sure that there are no pauses or there are no hesitations. Let's have a look at fluency in a bit more detail over here. So fluency, to get a full score, it says in the scoring guide here by Pearson that the speech shows smooth rhythm and phrasing. There are no hesitations, repetitions, false starts, or non-native like phonological simplifications. In very simple words, it means that we are not supposed to be taking sounds out like such sounds that we take out are considered by the computer that you're not a confident speaker, you're not speaking fluently. False start, it means that if I have made a mistake while speaking something, I should not correct myself and start again. For example, if there is a sentence which is given, domestication is an evolutionary rather than a political development. Now I'm speaking it and I say domestication is an evolutionary rather than a political development. This is fine. But if I say domestication is a evolution and it must, and domestication is an evolutionary. So that means I have repeated myself. This is incorrect. Never in the exam, in speaking, I would say, repeat your information again. That impacts your fluency and directly your speaking score. Let's have a look at a question, what it looks like in the exam, and then let us discuss these components of fluency and pronunciation as well. So we have a passage in front of us, and we see in this box there is a timer which is given, and it's quoting the words beginning. Beginning means the time when the microphone is turned off. So if you make any errors in this beginning time, you will not receive any score for this. However, in this beginning time, we are supposed to prepare ourselves for the passage. More details about this would come a bit later, but let me first explain what do we mean by a false start. So if I look at this passage, it says, once you've picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main and focal point of your paper, and it's the side you'll take on your particular. Now, while speaking, I realized I said, and it's the side you'll take on your particular topic. And I simultaneously say, and it's the position you'll take on your particular topic. So what I've done is I spoke first incorrect, then I realized I made a mistake, and then I again started off with correcting myself. This is called a false start. We are not supposed to be doing that. So this is what basically fluency it implies. And this was about the scoring of read aloud. Now let us have a look at the strategies, the tips and tricks, and the details of read aloud. So read aloud, primarily we get a scoring of 35 marks for reading, 25 marks for speaking. And the two timings that we get in the exam, the first is known as the preparation time, or as we saw earlier, beginning. And then we have the answering time, where in the exam, the box, it shows the word recording. So what are we supposed to do in the preparation time, and what are we supposed to do in the answering time? Let's have a look at that again. So now we have this passage in front of us again. What we are supposed to do in the preparation time, or when it says beginning in the exam. Step one is never start randomly reading this passage. Once you pick a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Never speak in your mouth, because remember, the microphone is off. And if the microphone is off, the computer is allowing you, Pearson is allowing you that you can make mistakes over here. It's okay. It's simply, in other words, your practice time, where you're supposed to practice loudly. So what we do is, we in the preparation time pronounce all the keywords loudly. So in the first line, if you see, it is youth, general, topic, paper, thesis, main, focal, paper, position, you'll, particular, formulating, strong, thesis, important, things, ace, paper. Now, if you observe over here, I have not assumed that I know all these words. This is one of the biggest problems we make in Read Aloud, that when we look at the passage, we just look at it and we are like, hey, you know what? I know all these words. Never ever assume anything. Pronounce all the keywords loudly with opening your jaws. When you do this by pronouncing all the words by opening your jaws, what happens is you get that confidence that, okay, the pronunciation of this word is this. The pronunciation of this word is going to be in this manner. It gives you a lot of confidence. So always pronounce all the keywords which are given to you in the passage. And when you have done that, now if we look at the screen, it is giving us 5 seconds. For fluency, deep breath. Hold your breath, finger on screen. Once you've picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main and focal point of your paper, and it's the position you'll take on your particular topic. Formulating a strong thesis is one of the most important things you need to do to ace your paper. So what was the way in which I spoke? I did, when it came beginning in 5, 4, 3 seconds, I did take a deep breath and I did hold my breath. And if you observe, I did not pause on any full stops or commas. Yes, remember this. You're never supposed to pause on full stops or commas. I know in normal English we are supposed to pause on full stops or commas, but remember guys, we are preparing for the PTE exam where the algorithm of the computer, it has a certain parameter of giving you the highest score. So the current parameter, it implies that you're not supposed to be pausing on full stops and commas to take the highest score. And when you've taken a deep breath, finger on screen, and then you speak in one go. Now I'm going to demonstrate 2-3 ways which is for you to identify that are you speaking in the correct way or are you speaking in the incorrect way. So I'll start with the first incorrect way of speaking. If we recall, we were just looking at the scoring and it showed us that we are supposed to speak smoothly in a rhythm without hesitations. Sometimes students, how they speak is, once you've picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main and focal point of your paper and it's the position you will take on your particular topic. Now, why is this wrong? Because at the very start, I'm very slow. Then I pick up speed, then again I slow down. This is not speaking in a rhythm. This is not speaking with consistency. How you're supposed to be speaking is in one breath you speak. There is a second incorrect way of speaking which most students, they do have in my experience and they don't realize it. So I'll demonstrate the incorrect way and then I'll tell you how you can fix this as well. So some students, when I tell them speak fast, speak in one breath, speak without hesitations. So this is how they speak. Once you've picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main and focal point of your paper and it's the position you will take on your particular topic. So what are they doing now? Now you're focusing on every single word loud, 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 loud. And a visible pause, 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 pause. When I try to tell these students that try to speak in one breath, a very natural question, it comes from their side that, but we are trying our best and we cannot smoothen, or as we say, the flow of speech. It's not happening. How should we improve? I'll tell you a very simple thing. If you have an issue where you are speaking in this way, once you've picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main and focal point of your paper. Don't speak the whole passage in one go. Break the passage, break the lines, not sentences, the lines into chunks. So in this case, the first half, I'll take it till the comma. So I will try to speak in this go. Once you've picked a general topic for your paper, and stop there. So again, I'm not speaking the whole passage, I'm just trying to build my rhythm. I'm trying to build my momentum. Once you've picked a general topic for your paper. Second time. Once you've picked a general topic for your paper, you need to. So the second, third, fourth time, you're adding 2-3 words. This is a really helpful method to build your flow, your momentum of your speech. But then we have another group of students who say that we have tried this in chunks, it's still not working for us. How can we fix this? Now, to fix this up, I have a methodology which I normally give to such students, and it does work for them. So what I want you to do in this case is, first of all, whenever you are practicing on the Education Vision platform, hear your recording and feel that, is this the right way that I'm speaking or no? Is this the passage, the way how I'm supposed to speak or no? How will you get to know that? Through this lecture. So you can refer back to this in future even and listen to the way how I spoke this passage. Now, if you feel that the flow is not being built, you are struggling to join those words together in regards to building a momentum, a flow, what I recommend students to do is, we all listen to songs. Listen to your favorite song, doesn't matter what language you're listening to it in, and see the way how that singer has linked his words of his speech. Because songs is something that we all like to listen. We all, in our own ways, are always singing something in our heart or in our mind. But focus on that specific song that you're listening to, how that speaker is connecting the words. Try to replicate it, even if it's in your own language. Try to replicate that flow. And when you have done that 3-4 times, knowingly doing it, not just doing it for the sake of enjoying the song, but when you knowingly do it, then try to speak this passage a half sentence again. You will see that you would have improved a lot more. It's all about just making yourself aware that what is the part that I'm good at, what is the part that I'm lacking at, and if I'm lacking at something, how can I improve it? So the most important thing, guys, here is never give up. Now, let us see how we are supposed to be preparing for the read aloud passages for our exam. So I've broken it down into 4 steps that you are supposed to be following. So the first step is, whenever I look at any read aloud passage, never directly start speaking it. This is a very crucial mistake that every candidate they make, and they come back and they quickly show me the scores. Oh, I spoke this passage, I haven't got my score. Look at the score that I'm getting, it's very low. Step 1 is focus on one thing, and that is quality over quantity. You should never aim that, okay, today I'm going to do 50 read alouds. And at the end of the day, you feel that you've done 50 read alouds, but you're still standing there. The main aim of preparation is we have to improve. We have to be exam ready. So the first step is, whenever you look at any passage, always make sure that you are writing the keywords down and pronounce them with their vowel sounds, which has already been explained in a video earlier, how to pronounce words. So watch that if you haven't watched it as yet. So you write down the words, pronounce them, and you use the passages on educationvision.com.au. Now that you have written all the words, go back to that passage and speak that passage very slowly. Now, why are you speaking it slowly? Because you are now trying to combine 2 skills, your pronunciation, which you have worked on, and now you're trying to build your speed with the pronunciation part. So speak it very slowly and remind yourself of the words, the sounds that you have just pronounced. Step 3, The same passage, speak it a bit faster. And step 4, the same passage, speak it as fast as you can. Now, this may seem to be a time-consuming process, but remember, this process will give you perfection and it will give you the confidence in the exam that now what I'm going to be speaking, it is perfect. So never rush when you're preparing. Never aim for quantity that I can just say that, hey, I prepared 40 questions today. It's about how well you have prepared, how well you are there to present yourself in the exam with perfection. Now, all of these steps, what I just did show you, let us practically just apply them. Let's take the example of this passage. So first step is I will write down the keywords and I will pronounce them. Papers, college, quotes, sources, integrating, quotes, life, persuasiveness, arguments, key, quotes, support, your, rather, include, space. If you observe, you can copy this as well. The passage is in front of you. See how I'm opening my jaws and trying to take the vowel sounds out. This is what you are supposed to be doing. Now, this was step 1. Step 2, speak the passage slowly with pronouncing the keywords. Many papers you write in college will require you to include quotes from one or more sources, even if you don't have to do it. Integrating a few quotes into your writing can add life and persuasiveness to your arguments. The key is to use quotes to support a point you're trying to make rather than just include them to fill space. Now, when you have done this in this manner, now you know, okay, so I can speak it and I've maintained my pronunciation as well. Then comes step 3, a little faster. Many papers you write in college will require you to include quotes from one or more sources, even if you don't have to do it. Integrating a few quotes into your writing can add life and persuasiveness to your arguments. The key is to use quotes to support a point you're trying to make rather than just include them to fill space. When step 3 is done, the same passage, now speak it the normal way. So what we do, deep breath, hold your breath, finger on screen. Many papers you write in college will require you to include quotes from one or more sources, even if you don't have to do it. Integrating a few quotes into your writing can add life and persuasiveness to your arguments. The key is to use quotes to support a point you're trying to make rather than just include them to fill space. What I've done in the last attempt is the pronunciation is there. Now the speed, I've merged them together. Watch this video again if you are still not clear about certain aspects, and feel free to practice it in this manner that I've taught you. Remember, this is a bulletproof method where you will never go wrong in the exam, and your reading and speaking scores would 100% be the highest if you practice in this way and apply it in the same way in the exam. Hopefully this was useful. See you in the next video.